Whoa, shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
All right, we have landed. We have landed. We're pulling up to the gate now, so get
All
get
right.
ready to launch out here. That's how we always is. That title. How long? I mean, that's a one thing that I was thinking about. We use that a lot. How long will this take? Or how long do I have to put up with this? How long? So how long will we? And I think it's a challenging power up for each of us. And that's one of the things always looking into my own life. How long will you keep just hopping? How long will we do that? How long will we keep hopping? How long will we do that? Between two opinions, so that's something that ought to be really something that we meditating on. And those of you, let me see what we got in the house here. All right, all right, all right.
Shalom, Blunt family.
They coming on in that, and so grateful for that. In that,
Shalom, Mama G.
yeah, okay, all right. Look like they're on time. They are on Hebrew
Not
time. Is
sure.
that
Who
right?
wants to take a win? Yes.
And then all of you that may not be in the chat room as well, shalom, shalom to you, and
Oh, yeah.
hopefully that we can have some power up moments in that, and that would be good for us. In that, just something to meditate on. Maybe we won't be that long, on tonight. Hate to say that, and then 6 hours later we still here, huh?
Edification.
Oh man, what a time, what a time. How long will you waver? That was another way of putting it, another terminology. So whatever scriptures you have, that you have, it may say different things, and according to your translation, between two opinions. I think in the King James say something about halt or something, how you halt or whatever. But how long? How long? So that's something that we have to make a decision. When I was going over this, it's just, we can take this in so many areas. And, but one of the things is before we do anything, I think if I wanted to rewind, so I was thinking about. I always come from my own life. Every teaching, every thought process, I want to come from my own life. And so one of the things that I was thinking about is the beginnings of this, right? The beginning of this. So when I was looking at this, and of course we know that what was going on here in Kings. We want to let me put that up to while I'm talking. It may be helpful for us. Let me see if I can get this going here. Okay, uh, we're gonna get it going. If I can we're gonna go to First Kings chapter 18 is what I was looking at or thinking about, and if we can make that a part of this real quick. All right, we are on our way. Let me see. All right, let me change our perspective on this, and I can show it. There we go. And so sometime I get to talking, and at least you could go back, or you have an idea where I'm at, right? Because I'll be all over the place. So always remember, always remember that as we going, and I feel more comfortable knowing that you have the scripture of this translation before you, as well as your own. And it's always good to know where we are at in that. But how long?
Right.
How long would we have these opinions in that? And so, so many times you can go so many ways. And as I think about it today, it's a lot that goes on in the area of having an opinion. Number one, a lot of that goes on, and so of course, when he was here, we always, he was just kind of showing out as a prophet there, and just doing what the Most High and causing the people to think about it, right, and to think about what was going on in that. Uh, Eliyahu. So one of the things he said, he came to the people and said, "How long would you keep hopping between two opinions if Yahweh is Elohim?" Now that's where I was saying that I was saying that I had to back up in my own life, and I said that's where I need to begin. If He is the Elohim, other words, if He is, and then I'm gonna make it personal in this sense of making a is he my Elohim, then what I need to do, it tells me then I need to follow him, right? And if it's another Elohim, Baal, if it's another one, then I need to follow him, you know. And so this is coming from the word of the prophet, in that. Because if I'm following Elohim and then trying to follow another Elohim, then I'm cheating on the other Elohim to follow
Mm-hmm.
the true and living one, right? So if I'm trying to be in Yah's corner and have other Elohim, then I'm cheating on Yah, right? So the Father don't desire that. What the desire from the mouth of the prophet is okay. Now you need to choose, and so that's where we all have to begin. So no matter where this walk or where you at in this walk, we all gonna have to choose, right? So we're gonna have to choose where to start. Now, if we make this choice and keep the choice that we make, and that's the other thing, so you can have those opinions, but we have to do that. But you know what was interesting when I was reading it? It says, "But the people answered him not a word." So they begin to think about that. And it's okay. I mean, that's not a put down or let down. They begin to think about that, though. Said, okay, I see what you're saying, because it's so easy for us to get off as we make a choice to come in the covenant with the Most High. Then we can end up somewhere else in a place where we say, the people answer not a word. You understand? Because so
Mm-hmm.
many things come up upon us, and so many things are there. And so, knowing that no matter what it is, that if we start off right, so I'm gonna cut it even shorter. I won't prolong the introduction to this, but one of the things is I must make a choice in order to get started. And that choice is to serve Yah, right? That's the choice. I want to serve the Father. So it is a choice there. Okay, once I choose that, then I need to follow Him, right? Once I make that. So I don't need to be going back and forth. And we'll get into another scripture, but I don't need to be going back and forth. If I choose Him, then I'm going to choose all that comes with that, right? I'm going to choose all that comes with that. And we know that those choices or whatever is to do what he says, right? Whatever he
Yeah.
says, we said that we would do it. Whatever he said, we do it, right? So that's, I have to realize that this is where I need to start at. And I know for most of us, that's, that's the elementary part of that. But after these years, I still had to back up and say the same thing, right? I had to see what was going on, right? And so when I go back, I need to find out really what's going on in that, right? So that's what Geraldine. I think she's in there in that. Delete that in that. Yeah, if you can, please. So one of the things is when we're going in this, we have to realize that once I make a choice, then I have to take everything that's there, right, and use that and take it. And it's very, very important that we do that, right? Take that and begin to walk the way that I should be able to walk. Right? It's always good to do that. Always do that, right? And so we want to make sure that as we are walking, then that we don't, listen to other opinions, and then those other opinions take us away from that, right? So we want to make
Mhm.
sure that we don't want to do that. So it is very, very important that those things come about in that. All right. So I think 15:30 in that. So here's one of the things that we want to find out and really seek the things of the Father is once I make a place to say I want to serve Him, then I take that place and go with it. If I don't want to serve Him, then I do something else with it, right? So that's very, very important that we know and understand that because divided loyalty just won't work. Okay. So divided loyalty just won't work. That's very important in that. When you divide it, then your loyalty is divided. Loyalty can only be focused in one area, right? Whatever that area is. If it's divided, then it will not be loyalty. It'll end up being something else. So that's very important in that. It's very important in all things. So we want to make sure that those things come about. Okay. So you don't want divided loyalty. You don't want that. You don't want that at all. All right. You want to be able to grow and to be focused on the things of the Father. That's one of the things that after. Let me see that. I think I was reading it earlier. I think everything that when they happen. See, I was trying to think about what they had said. It might be closer to the end here. What the people said when I was looking at this earlier. We'll go up and please. No, that's not it. I think it was 30, 39, maybe. Yeah, and the people saw and fell on their face after they seen of course, the demonstration of what he did and what he told them and how he told them to do it. It says, and all the people saw and fell on their face and said, Yahweh is the Elohim, Yahweh, He is Elohim, right? Yahweh is Elohim. So that's where we need to be. That's the decision. After the end of that, we need to say, that Yah is Elohim, right? So that's That's very important. That's where now our loyalty has went to, right? The loyalty of that has went to. And so that's very important that we understand that. All right. So, brother, you want to jump in there before I go to this next verse here?
Um, I'm still just getting started. I'm ready to hear some more.
Okay. you you ready to hear some more? All right. Let's
Yes,
go
sir.
to one of the things that I wanted to put in James here, as we know it as James in a way. First, as some people would know, the first chapter, James, the first chapter, and then the eighth verse. He is a double-minded man, right? Is unstable in all of his ways. So if you double-minded, then that means you are unstable. You're an unstable person, you know. And so you'll be unstable in all of your ways. And that's very, very important in that, right? So that's the reason our loyalty has to be focused. The loyalty has to be focused in one area. And that area, once we make a decision on whether to serve the Father, I said that several times because once you make that decision, then you can go with some things. Once you make that decision, then you can know where you at. You know where you at when you're serving the Most High, right? And so in that area, then you can be able to build, right? And I think we was talking about building here a week ago, several weeks ago, whenever it was. We're talking about building. Then once you here, you are here. But you never want to grab on, and I say it again, to somebody else's or some other opinion or some other Elohim. You never want to do that because it's not going to do us any good, right? It's not going to do you no good. It's just going to cause you to vacillate back and forth in that. And so, one of the things that Yeshua was telling us, and one that is very, very familiar to all of us, and this is important because the stream of this goes all the way through our scriptures. So, the thought process goes through the scriptures. No one is able to serve two masters. You can't do it. You can't do it. So you have to realize if it's gonna be Yah, then it's Yah, right? And so in those things, if it's gonna be him, then it's gonna be him. No one can serve two masters. Either he will hate one, right? He shall hate the one, and love the other. He's gonna hate the one, and then he's gonna hate the other. You can't do two of them, right? It's impossible to do that. So once we come in, right, and we realize that Yah is who we're gonna serve, then that's who we're gonna love. So if Yah is who we're gonna serve, then that's who we're gonna love. And then there's a cleaning and a cleaving that's gonna happen there. You know, you can only be loyal to one at a time, right? But as you do that, as your love grows for more of the things of the Father, then all of those other opinions are all, and I'm using those opinions as other Elohim, right? All of those other things that we might see, all of those other things that's around us, it despises that, right? So it grows out. The more your love grows from Him, everything else around you just doesn't matter, right? And so that's what the happen. Sometimes even in marriages is for the love for your husband or your wife. It has to get stronger because that way nothing else around it, no other woman or no other man can come between that because you are you have clinged to your wife or your husband. And the more that you love him, the more that you love them, the less you would love someone else. You know, so that's how it is. So the closer you get to someone in that, then nothing else can come in that way, you know, in that. So you are not able, and we are not able to serve the Elohim. And then it has manum there, or the money, and we know that that can be used because uh, that's sort of what drives the machine with the power, right? And so you can't serve two of those. Other words, the principle there, you can't serve two, it has to be one. And so that's very important as we begin to walk it is one. So I can't choose, a lot of times we are independent or, and so what makes us independent sometimes can make us independent from the Father. So sometimes independence can make you separate from the Father, right? So you don't want that. You don't want to choose in that. You want to just participate in that. But when you come in and choose the Father, you choosing the family. You, other words, you choosing the whole household of Yah. You know, so it's not a I want a little of this, but I don't want that. Once we come in and choose him, then we have to choose it all. We have to choose it all, right? And so it's just like your spouse, your husband or your wife. You chose all of them. So when you brought them home, then everything that was with them came with them is now in your home. Y'all gonna come together, right? So everything now you're gonna have to grow together. That's just the way it is. And so in that you're gonna cleave. You shall cleave. In that thing you should have be able to do that, right? It's very, very important in that we cleave to one another. That's the way that it should be. And if we do that, and so Yeshua understood this. He understood it perfectly, right? And so it's all through our scriptures that even the prophets were saying the same thing that you can't do that. The only choice in life, right? The only choice in life that we have. Now, this is a power up moment. The only choice in life that you have is who you gonna serve, right? And so many times I know I'm kind of condensing this to the subject matter, right? I know that you have to make other choices, but this is the main choice. I want everyone to understand this and meditate on this and think about it. This is the only choice is who you're gonna serve. So if you're gonna serve Yah, then serve him. If you're not gonna serve him, don't serve him. Right? Don't serve him. Serve other Elohim. Right? Make idols for yourself somewhere else. Right? But if you're gonna serve Yah, then serve him. And then in order to serve him, I have to be able to have a heart to to be open to know how to serve him. Right? I have to have that.
Amen.
But you do have that. That's the two choices, the two main choices in this earth that you're gonna have. Either you're gonna serve him or you're not. And so we can see all around us the not people, right? The people that do not serve him. And then you can see those that do serve him. And so there's a difference. That's the only two you have. You have those that serve him and those that don't. Right? And that's what we have. So we can't be devoted, right? And we were saying earlier, love, and we use all of those terms, and all of those terms you make a list of, but we cannot be devoted with two um, opposite relationships, responsibilities,
Yes.
right? We can't have two of them. It does not work. You can't have two of them. We have to be a card. We can't have two. It does not work. You cannot have two. You have to have one. One in purpose, one in relationship, one in the body, one belief, and one faith that may even say.
Yes.
It has to be one. It's not two. It's one, right? And serving Him. And then He tells us how to do that. So we have to be able. When you say, okay, how do I do this? We're gonna have to commit our ways to Him. We're gonna have to commit our ways to Him, and not to no one else. Meaning, not when I say
Amen.
no one around in the world, no one in that opposite. When you go somewhere, immediately when we step out our door, wherever you go, you can go to work, you can go to the store, wherever you go, immediately there are two opposites, only two. those that serving the Father and those that are not. And you can recognize that, right? You know who's serving the Father and who's not, And of course, that and it tells for you to interact with somebody. Now don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, you think about it. Those that at work, those you can go to the hospital, you can go to the store, whatever it is, and you can just about know who it is. Now, of course, you got to recognize. And I'm talking about just not looking at no outward now. Can't say everything, but in the context of what we are at is what I'm trying to portray and try to put forth in order for us to have a build up moment. Because once you get, that's sometimes where the struggle is at. Does the Father really love me? Am I in covenant with Him? You know, and so you choose though. You choose. He's there is available. It's already in the works. It's already working. The only thing that you do is you have to choose. And so once we get into this choice, sometimes we choose not to stay in the choice that we made. And so we end up then serving other Elohims, right? Because we didn't make the right choice. And if we didn't make that right choice, then this is where we are at. So we have to make sure that we make the right choice, and we have to be able to be committed. Yeah, I know I'm saying some power words here. Those those words there are strange to us sometimes, but we have to be committed to one way, and that's uh, being committed to Him, right? That's the one way that we do. We are people of the way, right? We are people of the way. That's what we was known as, and that's what we are known as in our scriptures as well. We are people of the way. Those of us that keep the covenant of Yah, right? We are people of the way and believe that Yeshua is the Mashiach, right? As well.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All right, brother. I'm coming up on 30 minutes. You want to jump in there and give you a little bit more?
Praise Yah. I'm powered up. So, like you did, you dropped some pretty serious words there. You're bringing a loyalty, commitment, and I was thinking about what you were saying, and I definitely I see what you're saying. It's just like, well, how can we claim Yah as our Elohim, but yet we don't obey Him? You know. And then how easy it is for us to be stuck in between two positions and us not know it. Because when you pointed out that verse back in First Kings at the end where it said that they were the people were silent, that really caught me. It's like they actually were considering this. This is like they really, it is as if they had not made up their mind. And I think if people were honest, they could find themselves in the crowd. They're gonna be silent. Have we really made up our mind? To come to the conclusion that Yah is Elohim and to follow Him in all that He says. And and when you brought up that right there about cleaving, it made me think about having an unstable commitment. If we're dealing with our relationship with Yah, as it should be tightly woven and knit together. To where you can't see the seam between where one starts and the other ends. It caused me to see, at least in my own heart, where I think it's in Jeremiah 29, where he's talking about, if you seek Yah, you seek Him with your whole heart, and then you shall find Him. I think that's 29 and 13. And what came to my mind was like, okay, so this group is receiving the word, but it's becoming fruitless. And that's what Yeshua spoke about in the parable of the sower. He said that you have these people it's a heart condition, and he called it thorny soil. And this thorny heart, it can receive the word, but yet it becomes fruitless. And I was thinking, it's like, this is what it looks. A fruitless life is this life that's hopping in between these two opinions. On one hand, you're exclaiming that Yah is your Elohim, but on the other hand, you're choosing, how to live that out. You may live it out, according to one's own understanding and versus what's written. And I came across a scripture in Hosea that really, I guess, stood out to me. It's in Hosea chapter 5, verse 11, because it made me think about what you were saying.
Uh-huh.
And, like in this unloyal commitment, or this half-hearted commitment, or this I'm choosing to serve two masters, which is really going to cause me to hate the one I love sometimes, because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
only gonna,
right.
so that,
Hmm.
and that's the way it came to me. It's just like, okay, well, when our eyes are being open to this, we have to open our heart to want to learn how to do it.
Hmm.
How to serve the Father with our whole heart, because you're not just going to figure it out because you're filled with passion. And when I saw this verse here, verse 11,
Verse 11, okay.
it really jumped. It said that Ephraim is oppressed. Now, in context, we know that this is a prophecy
Hmm.
up there to the north kingdom, but the principle here is still stands true. And I have the 2009 version, so it's worded a little bit different in mine.
Yeah, and that's
Because
fine. That's fine.
Ephraim is
Yeah.
oppressed in judgment and crushed, because he walked after the command when it pleased him. And I
Hmm.
see that's what it is. We can't half-heartedly choose to. We pick and choose. Like Yah's word's not a buffet. You
Hmm.
know, when I'm thinking about the fact that what causes one to hop in between two opinions is because they think certain things which the Father has said is optional,
Hmm.
and it shouldn't be so. So when I'm thinking about that, I'm serving the Father, I'm getting the wholeness of all that He has said, from Bereshit to Revelation.
Hmm.
As we like to say that in the canon 66 books. But
Right.
it's like, okay, well, I'm okay when the Father says, or when the wise men say, love your wife as Messiah of the assembly, but I'm not okay where it says, do not eat unclean meat. you know,
Right.
so
Right.
I'm seeing that if I pick and choose which way I want to serve the Father, that's what my relationship will be like. It's going to be that thorny soil. I
Hmm.
won't see the fruit of what happens when I choose to seek the Father's face in the Sabbath day.
Hmm.
There's blessings that come in that. We read at the assembly from Isaiah 58 every week. It says, when we turn our foot to the Sabbath, then we will find the delight. You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
so I'm seeing it's just like when I've chosen to cleave onto the Father, like you were saying to us before, I'm also making a commitment to all that He has said, and
Hmm.
and it's for my good. And that's at least what I've come to know. I've come to know that what Yah has commanded us is all for our good, for it benefits us, and to the fact that these words He's given us, it's to preserve our life, you know, and to teach us how to be a community, so that we're not each one led astray, going after all these different voices. We're all hearing the same voice, and I think that that's the key. At least that's my first
Absolutely.
look.
Yeah, absolutely, my brother. The I was looking at well, going back to the servant and Matthew. If it went back to Matthew, one of the things I was saying that you can remove the power of money by refusing to allow it to determine your behavior, right? So
Um,
one of the things is we need to let the Father determine our behavior, right? How we walk. That's what I'm saying. And so when you look at that, we have to know what is it is being the determining factor in our life that causes us to do what we do. What is that? What is that? And so we have to make sure that we don't engage ourselves in other relationships outside of Yah, right? Can't do that. It just won't happen, you know. And but we're gonna have to be able, and I'm gonna go back to this again because it just keeps suppressing on my heart, is to be able to cling to Him. So that's where your starting point is at. If I would wanted to home this in, is the starting point is to make up our mind. and choose who we're going to serve. Choose this day on who you want to serve. And that takes a made up mind, because we don't want to be double minded in that. And so we don't want to come into it until we have a chance and an opportunity to give our all. Once we give our all, that's what we want to do, be able to give our all to that. The loyalty. That's what I now. This here we probably won't be long tonight. But this here came up. It was on my heart earlier, and I was trying to see where I wanted to fit this in at, right? In that, and maybe I don't know how to put it. I know how I put it down here, but I just wanted to be something that I want people to think about, right? Because when you choose Yah, you coming in a relationship with others. you know you
Hmm.
coming into that relationship with others. And the other thing that I see going on, or what we see going on today, is everyone wants to collect the facts. Everyone wants to collect this, and I know about this, and I know about that. you know but it all of the facts, all of the history, and all of that, what you have, I want you to listen to this. There's still no substitute for relationship with people. It's still no substitute for the relationship with the Most High. He didn't call you. He didn't say, as you collect all of your facts and history, this is what's gonna happen. You understand? Not saying that you should not do those things, but these things have elevated and floated all the way to the top, right? So, and then what it happens is now we running out of the knowledge, or we running after those things when we should be running after, from a biblical perspective, a relationship and to engage with others, because that's how you walk it out. Okay. So I can have all of the information, all of the books, even on my shelf. I can have all of those things. But if I don't start walking it out, I have not learned anything yet. So how I know that I am engaging with the Most High is that I engage with you, and then I walk that out with you. Right? So if
Yes.
I can only love, like I done said it many times. I love him on how I love you. That's how I walk it out. So I know what he says. He didn't say, okay, now get your 40,000 books and read and study. And now you do all those things. Now I'm not in no war with nobody. And that's where my shalom is. But you can do those things, but don't forget Torah. All right. Torah
Amen.
tells us that we have to engage with one another. That's how you walk it out. That's how you know whether you are there or not. You have to make sure that you know that you know. And so all of those that are around you, as you walk it out, I know that I love you. If listen, when I need somebody to forgive me. The scripture, when it says forgive one another, okay, if I never engage in anyone, then only thing I have to do is forgive myself, right? I have to be able to engage. I have to be there to be ready to forgive you, you know, because that's the thing. And then something has to happen to me in order for me to forgive you. I think we forget about that. You just floating on a cloud. No, you're gonna have to. Something's gonna have to happen to you. Maybe it's somebody that's close to you, and then you're gonna have to forgive them, right? You're gonna have to forgive them. But if I stay away and just stay in my books, I don't have to do that. I just what I'm going to study today. But in order to walk out Torah, you have to come out of that book and start walking. Right? You have to come out of that book and start engaging with one another. That's how I know, right? So that's what I'm saying is that you can have all of that, and I know it looks better on posters when you got that. When you have all those things, it looks better, and people run after that because the more knowledge I can get, then it presents it in a certain way that I do not have to walk this out. I just get more knowledge. So we run after the knowledge of people, but what about those that are living? Nobody wants to live. Everybody wants to be able to have the knowledge of it, but nobody wants to live. So they'll say, I do this, I do this. I know this, I know this book. I know this, I know that. I know this, I know that. I know this, I know that. But nobody wants to live it out. So it comes a point, and when I say nobody, I'm talking in general senses. It comes a point where we have to make sure, though, that when we have to take it off of the we have to take it off of the pages, my brother, and then present it in such a way. That's what we have to do. We have to take it off the pages and present it in a certain way, right? Now here's the also the addition to this rub, you know. Okay, you may say to yourself, "Oh well, oh what does that mean or whatever." Yes, you need those things, the knowledge and stuff. Now watch this. Now I want people to I want you to be honest. I want you to be honest. All of the information, now here it comes, that we have. Now think about it. I'm talking about just information, just wide. Internet's all of it. All of the information. Now, if information was the key, I want you to answer this question. Be honest with yourself. If information is the key, are we in a better place on the information that we have right now? All of the information that we have, all of the books, all of the speeds, all of the internets, all of this information, all of the knowledge, all of the best technology. We got all of this, but I want you to answer the question and answer it rightfully. Are we in a better place? If information was it, we would be in top place. We'd be in top place. Now, you may say things, right? But are we in a better place? Can you do that? I think I mentioned once before, I could leave my door open. Can you leave your door open right now? If you leave your door open and go tell your next door neighbor, my door is open. If you get hungry, just go over and get you something to eat. So, and I'm just talking in general because I know it goes all over, right? But think about it. Are we in? Did that all the information that you get, does that cure hunger? All the information that we get, is that curing the poor? All the information that we have, all of the people that say they're gonna change things, it changed, right? All of those things. So these are the things that we have to depend on. We have to depend on the things of the Father. So the information that what did it result in? For information, where has it changed your life in? All of the knowledge that you got right now, even by your scriptures, all of the knowledge, all of the Hebrew, all of that, where has it got you at? What are you doing? What are you doing with it? Is it better? Is the things better? Just information, I'm saying. Listen, if we don't take that information that we get and put it in our life and then encounter with people with this and put it on display, you're gonna forget it. It's nothing but information. That is the wisdom that we have. The wisdom that Yah gives you is that we have to put it out there and we have to make sure that we encounter with people in that. People are hurting, right? Will information cure that hurt? How's that working for us? Look around. How's that helping us? More information. We got the best 4OK plans, 407 plans. We got all of this stuff, right? RRAs, ERAs, and PRAs. We got all of this. But where are we at today? Where we at today? Where we at today? You have to be honest with ourselves. Where are we at today, though? Right? So we have to choose to serve the Father. All of this information we running after, all of the, oh, we found out this, and oh, I found out that. I found out. Is that making you any better? Are you loving more? Are you taking care of the things that the Father tell us to do? He never told us to run after no information like that, right? You need information. Don't get me wrong, right? But I want you to think in another area, the area of Torah. Torah, you have to walk it out individual life, right? You can't just marry people on paper. You got to engage with a wife or a husband. Is that right? You got to do that. You got to do one or the other. Somebody's gonna be your wife. You got to find them out. You got to find them. Is that right? So all of this thing, we oh, I know this and I don't know this. This don't sound right. That don't sound right. Well, how are we living though? How are we living? That's
Yes.
that's what's important to us, you know. And that's what I'm saying is get out of the two opinions because it's easy to run. Sometimes it's easy to just get information. It's easy to study than to pray, right?
Mm.
To have a relationship with him because I want to study for more information. I want to study. I want to see if that's so. I want to do this. I want to do that. What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? But where is that got us at? And everyone that said they got a plan to fix something, where is it fixed at? Are we any better? Are we any better? I mean, come on, are we any better? We got all of the fast stuff. We can just click stuff. We got we got all of this stuff. But one of the things we have to do, we have to apply it to individual people. If we all of these divisions, if we were to insert what the Father told us by His Word, if we would insert that, we wouldn't have all of this division going on. We only got the division and all of those things going on because we're seeking information. How did somebody split? Because this one thinks this one believes that one has that one, and now you got to split, right? Now you got to
Mm-hmm.
split. So what is it? What is it that we have? What is it that we're running after? We need to choose the things of Yah. And then when I say that choice, though, I'm not just choosing, oh, I choose the Father. I know it's the Elohim. I know He's the creator. No, no, okay, good. You got your information. Now, what we're going to do with the information that we got, though? What are we going to do with that?
Mm-hmm.
If it tells us to take care of our brother, if everyone did that, then that problem be solved, right? But we know everyone is not going to do that, right? We already know that. But the people of Yah has to be the one that be the light of the world. You can't be a light
Hallelujah.
hid, and many times it said hid under a bushel. Let me tell you what some of that. When you are hid in the things of the world. You are hid in information, and I'm just using this, right? You hid in information. That's where we hear that. And we don't want our life to go, but your life is gonna have to go before you. That's how you learn something. You didn't get it until you do it. We have to be doers of the word and then not just hearers only. It's not gonna do us any good. All of this that you have, man, it's all over the place. Everyone has an idea, right? But it's gonna have to engage. We're gonna have to pull ourselves together as we come together. We're gonna have to build this house. We're gonna have to build this house, right? And then there has to be a solid foundation. It has to be built on Yeshua. It's gonna have to be built on Him. So that's one of the things is how to get. What do you think, brother? Is it any better? All the information you got, huh? We got the phones, right? All of this, we got phones. We all of this. Is it any better? Does it make our life better? Or we don't argue no more because we got a phone? No, nobody breaks in or try to cheat you. Nobody's tracking you. Are we any better? I mean, those things. I'm showing you a phone. I'm on the internet. I'm saying I'm not saying nothing against that. I'm not holding up a flag. I'm trying to get us to choose to think about. I can't make you do nothing to think about choice to serve Him. Stop trying to run off the. We done made information an idol to us. And he didn't tell us to run off of nobody's information, right? I mean, we're gonna survive, but you understand what I'm saying? When we bring it, we have elevated it into the things of the Father. We have elevated those things, right? And so he gives us the
Yes.
wisdom that we need. But we elevate you just have a couple of titles behind your name and see how quickly you elevate yourself, you know. In that. So, and I'm talking about in the things of in the things of the Father. Who we gonna be devoted to? I know I asked you something. I kept talking. Didn't I?
I'm
Hallelujah.
absorbing it. I'm absorbing it. Hallelujah. There's, I mean, you can't really refute it. It speaks for itself.
Uh
I
huh.
mean, we have the advancements that we have gained through, if I say it this way, man's ingenuity has not benefited us in the matters of life. It's just been matters of convenience.
Uh huh.
Oh, and then I like what you said that about the knowledge and the information. I mean, even the wise ones have told us to know madness and folly is in the, in all of that, because you're never going to be able to be settled. I think it was in Ecclesiastics. He was saying he set his heart to know wisdom, and he also perceived madness and folly. So, so I just know that when it comes to those things, it's just if we were really seeking the Father, if we were doing His ways, because we know Him, and I think it would start in the community, like you were saying. I think what came to my heart was James 4:17. It was saying to him then who knows to do good. So I think that's like
Mm-hmm.
what you were just saying. Like I if I'm the one who knows to do good, which means I'm not saying good according to what the world calls good, because outside my door is a system, and in that system, in that government, their perception of good is not the perception of my king. So
Mm-hmm.
what he considers good is what I want to say. This good is this, and then he says, and does not do it, to him it is sin. So when I'm thinking about what you're saying, it's like, okay, with all these advancements and all these things we can do to benefit our brother and then humankind as a whole, what are we doing with it? Like you were
Right.
saying,
Right.
who are we benefiting? And even when we think about the fact that the light goes forth in our communities, we're seeing, a small group at a time, and it really just brings to heart that the remnant, how important it is to be the remnant of the Father, how important it is to have your mind made up so that you're no longer storm tossed and afflicted, and driven in between this person and that person. And I've seen it. I've seen it to where people are in the opportunity to receive the truth, but yet because of their own opinions, they can deny it at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it shouldn't be this difficult, you know. I
Right.
think even again in Ecclesiastics, it's written. It says that let us hear the conclusion of the matter. You know,
Yeah.
when it's all said and done, to fear Yah and to guard His commandments, for it is the duty
Hallelujah.
of all
Hallelujah.
mankind. So
Yes.
I mean, and as we know, it was gifted onto that individual to be the wisest man who ever lived. So, so I'm my heart is grieved in the sense that I understand the plight of the men who've come before us, where they're saying choose life, choose life, choose
Mm-hmm.
life,
Mm-hmm.
and yet people say no, we choose not to walk in it, or that's not the life I desire. So I can see why this would happen, because who really wants the life the Father is offering to us? And like you said, we'll know by their way of life, because
Mm-hmm.
I'd say
Right.
very few really have given their heart to know the Father according to His instructions, to know Him according to the way the Messiah was revealed, and to be able to shed off this the false, So what when you spoke earlier, it caused me to want to say in my heart, and I have a question for you. What causes, like, in your heart, in your opinions, what causes us to break commitment?
I think that it's something that we go after,
Mm.
because we don't want to. It's difficult for us to change because none of this, even what I'm talking tonight, is overnight though. It's not like
Hmm.
you're gonna hear this and you're gonna wake up into the morning and everything is gonna be all right.
Transformed.
I know they might teach you that, but that's not how this works, right? Because it's a way
Process.
of life, right? And so as you go, then these things, sort of develop. In the process, things get in our way, the challenges and all of that. Life happens, one minute you find, the next minute you find out you have an illness, 1 minute, excuse me, you find the next minute your job is gone. All of these things start to affect you, you know. But if we can get rooted in what the things of what the Father has told us is okay. Number one, this should not be a surprise. This is what happens, right? This is what happens. But not my dependence is okay, then either I would start searching for another job or, whatever would happen. No one would thought that, when they woke up that, the tornado was gonna come through that night. You know what I mean? And so all of these things happen and now all of your stuff is destroyed. So what is the difference? What is the difference? How do we do that? So sometimes uh, when we look at the things or how those things and look at that and let that be the all in all in our life, knowing that those things can fade away. We should already know that, you know. But you can build again, in that. So it's you can look at it several ways. As me and you had encountered a young lady that her house had burned down, burned up, I should say, and her attitude was totally different, right? That so and we encounter things differently, sometimes. So that may not be the only thing, but that is some of the things. Like I say, even in my own life or whatever. Sometimes things get in the way, but what helps me is to continue to practice and continue to walk out that which what I believe. Well, I have all of this information and I'm not walking it out, it's not doing us any good. And so until we start walking it and start doing it, then that's when it should happen. You know, it says forgive my brother some of the time.
All the time.
Oh, all the time. Okay, it said forgive him all the time. So it looks different. I'm gonna forgive you, but according to what happened, it could look different, right? Am I right? So
Hmm. Yes.
because Torah instructions will tell us how to handle certain situations. So it could look different, but I still have to. You know what? It is good. I'm gonna tell you, it's good to. To sit somewhere and know that all of the people that might have done something to you, you have forgiven them. Man,
Hallelujah.
that's good, And some people don't want you to be at shalom. They don't want
Mm.
that, right? But that is a good place to be in. But it also a good place to be in your heart. Whatever has happened. I can see you, I can engage with you, and as brethren, and we can keep going. That's how it
I
is.
mean,
That's how it is. But that's the walking it out. So after I figure out all the nuance about forgiveness, if I read all of the books on forgiveness, right? After I do all that, after I write my thesis on forgiveness, guess what I have to do?
start forgiving.
Yes, yeah. Now I got it. Now I got it. I didn't get it until I start doing it.
Yes.
But we have the most brilliant people that are not doing what they have given us and telling us what we need to do.
That blows my mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It really does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's how it is. You know, you go to somebody and say, "Well, you need to take this." They say, "No, you taking that?" Say, "No, I'm not taking that." Okay, well,
No,
why are
it'd be
you
good for
telling me?
you though. I know
You
just what
know,
you need.
yeah. Let me show you. In that, you know what I mean? It's sort of like the
Yes, sir.
simplest form. In that. So, yes, sir.
I remember you were talking about the psalmist. That, I don't remember which, but he says, "Taste and see that Yah is good."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, since I have tasted and I have seen, now I can proclaim it. You
Right.
know,
Right.
like I
Yes,
can't
sir.
tell anyone that Yah is good if I've never even come to know him. If I've never even got the flavor of Yah. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember you were bringing out like in the sense that the chef, as soon as they taste something, certain individuals, they can start telling you even what ingredients are in it. So
Absolutely.
Yah says about himself that he's long suffering, that he's forgiving, that he's kind, that he's truth. So I can't even put long suffering and truth and kindness. I can't even get those things off my mouth if I haven't even began to taste it and then do it, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
And when you were saying that, what came to my heart is I think it's in the book of Acts where Shaul, it's Acts 9 and 5, where Shaul is, and this is just a principle again,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
he was saying Messiah tracked him down. He's done showed up as a bright light, and he got him. There's no turning back from this point. And now they start speaking, and he said, "Who are you, Master?" And the Master Yeshua said, "I am Yeshua to whom you persecute." And then he says this phrase, and this phrase always gets me. And he said, "It is hard for you to kick against the goads."
Mm-hmm.
That's how.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like to me when it's like, okay, well, here, like you brought out the prophet Eliyahu here. He's laying this out. When it was all said and done, the fire came down for him, not for those people who said that they had an Elohim but couldn't prove it.
Mm-hmm.
In that
Mm-hmm.
sense,
Right.
by their
Right.
way of life, and they're praying and they're screaming and they're crying, they're cutting themselves. They were doing all
Mm-hmm.
sorts of stuff.
That's right.
But
Absolutely.
here was a man, and he says, "I'm going to lay out this altar here as Moshe described." And I
Mm-hmm.
think pretty much he was making a reference to Exodus 25 or Exodus, 25 or 24, where Moses lays out the 12 stones, and he says, "This is the blood of the covenant."
Mm-hmm.
And so here he is doing that, and the Father shows up. Like, to me, that would be the Father now, like you said, prodding all of us to then come to the conclusion he is Elohim, as the people did, as you pointed out in that chapter. But we forget that there was another group of people that got slain with the sword. So when it was said and done, when the Messiah is taking out all this time and all this compassion to send messengers and good words and living it out, people showing you how to live it out, how long will it be until we stop kicking against the goads,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
we just
Absolutely.
surrender to the opinion of the Father, so that when you had said that, that's what stood to my heart, because there's going to come a time, this only happened to Shaul once, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Right.
so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, praise Yah.
Absolutely. Hallelujah. Yeah. I just felt a little compassion, not on tonight, from my heart. Uh, to let us know that we can do it. We can do it. And I just see it. We need it more and more each and every day. We just do. We need it more and more. So it is a journey. It is a journey.
Yes, sir.
That's for sure. So, all right, my brother. I guess let me see. Check you out. We can about wrap it up. I guess. Um, I just wanted to, like I say, express that and to make sure that that's how we do it. You'll feel free like that, and so we have to make sure that those things happen. We want those things to happen for us. It's very,
Man.
very important. I believe that that's all I had in my little notes here that I go by. So the commitment, I think I talked about that. So commit your ways to Him. You know why?
Yeah.
Because He cares for us. You know, He cares for us, and that's
Yes.
very, very important. So when we think about how long we're gonna be hopping around between two opinions, I think we can make up our mind to serve the Most High, and I think most of us that probably is listening to this or come by to this will know that they are uh, thinking about that and has already chosen to do that. And I'm grateful for that. So I'm grateful for that. So we're going to give out to the shout out for those that are here and get ready to close this out. Did anybody have any questions that are in here? Still in here, I might want to encourage something. We'll give you time to say
Yes.
something in that. I know sometimes I don't in that, but um, we had some outside visitors, but we good. That means something going right.
There's
All right. I was gonna give them a few minutes just to see if we could do that.
yes. I think it's good. Yah is patient. you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely, absolutely. That's the cry. Just like the prophet cried out, "Who you gonna serve?" Wow, that kind of stuck with me. All right. Well, it looks like this may be a place to only in this. Grateful for everyone that joined us that may not even will not hear live, and that will see this a little later. The thing is just be encouraged in that, and just know that you can do it. Once you receive the knowledge, then get some wisdom with that, and and some understanding. But how do you do
yes.
that? Is
Yes.
you don't have to buy a book or nothing. You just need to do it. When I say that is I don't have the secret. The secret is Torah, and Torah telling us to do what we need to do. It's right there. So if we can do that, then we'll be all right. Say love your wife, right?
Yes.
So I can read that all
Yes.
day. I can break down love, give you 25 things on how to love your wife. You could go to the class, the seminar on how to love your wife. But man, if you don't take that home, right, and start applying it, she'll never think you love her. But you passed the class, you got the
Hmm.
25 steps. Okay, so get that. It's okay to get that, but now is the time and a cry for us to start doing those things, right? Start doing
Hmm.
those things, and that's who we serve. That's who we serve. All right. I, all right. I think the seatbelt light is off, so we're gonna we're gonna
We can
unplug.
move about the
We
cabin.
can move about the cabin, so we're gonna get ready to unload. We pulled up at the gate. Now we're gonna unload. So the seatbelt light is on. We're gonna get our baggage and go ahead and go to our destination, my brother. So
Praise
thank
God.
you again for being faithful and being here and encouraging us, and appreciate you so very much in
I
that.
thank you for this. It's added to just such a vibrant thought process, and so we can put this into practice.
Absolutely. Well, shalom, my brother.
Shalom.